Welcome to the MLB Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Maddie and Josh coming back to you here after a little break. It is Tuesday, got plenty of baseball to choose from. Lots of games starting in those late afternoon and evening slots. So we're going to have a couple picks each for you guys. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are back now for you each and every weekday moving forward for the rest of this season. So appreciate the subscribe there, as well as any kind of like on the video if you're getting anything out of what we're doing here with you guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, Maddie, as we're talking about a couple of teams up there in the AL East. Going to be looking at an under, though, in the first three between the Jays and the Rays.
Yeah, so a couple of these things. One, Vlad sucks this year, so that we'll just get that one out of there. No, Vlad might not even be in this game, which is kind of the reason I really like this. Even if he's not hitting home runs in Toronto, which he's in Tampa, so he may hit one, but whatever. I don't think he's going to be in this game, so that's a huge plus here. This is definitely a first three thing more than it is a full game environment. I don't like the 7.5 with the bullpens, but I really think that Nick Martinez and Jose Soriano are really keeping this at a full game 7.5. And I don't really want to push this to the first 5 because I don't want the arms to get weak because they definitely can. And I hear you in the comments, or most of you in the comments, like, yo, if I'm looking out Outlier, fill in the blank other website, it's saying Toronto is about to murder Nick Martinez, and I totally get it. If you look at it, Toronto's had a lot of success against some incredible arms recently. I would just ask you, how many earned runs are they getting off the starting pitcher? And if you look at that, it's averaging over about 1. So I really like the chances here with Nick Martinez just pitching to contact, getting some ground balls and getting doubles, or double plays, etc. I don't see where the runs are screaming. The only way this blows up, I think, is if Soriano throws Caminera a meatball with Aranda or someone on base. Like, I really feel comfortable about under 3 here in the first 3. Just give me 6 outs both sides, and I think it's really likely. But back to what I was saying earlier, Toronto's recent wins, they come from right-handed pitching. So I understand if there's some questions here of why we should trust them. But the names were Cam Schlittler, Garrett Cole, Sonny Gray, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Hunter Brown, and a guy named Christian Javier from Houston. Not a very good pitcher. But those starters only allowed 1, 2, 4, 3, and 3 runs. Toronto deserves credit for winning those games, but I think we really have to put it in perspective here. There's not a lot of runs being like manufactured here. Martinez is the exact type of pitcher I like I like for a short under, because he's not necessarily trying to throw gas and strike you out and give you an opportunity to hit a fastball at insane velocity. He's just trying to throw a ball that can get caught and cause a double play or just a quick out. And I think if you keep Martinez and Soriano and just ask them for 6 outs, I feel very comfortable about that. Martinez in particular, over his last 5 starts, he has a 3 ERA, a 9.99 WHIP, and only 1 walk across those last 5 outings. Free base runners are at a premium. And that's another reason I really like this first 3 under. If those arms aren't being like exhausted, I really think we can get to under first 3 minus 125. A lot of markets already have this in the minus 135 region. So yeah, give me the under 3 first 3 for the Toronto and Rays. Offenses, just go out there and lay a goose egg, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, seems appropriate. You mentioned the lack of Vlad. That's going to help. But yeah, no real notes on this one. I like the lack of runs in a game that should have it all the way through. Honestly, the total probably just being a little bit low makes you feel a bit worse once you have the starters on your side. So I'm with that one. I'm going to go start with an over on a player prop. Got an under for the second player prop as well. But I'm going to go back to Murakami here, who has been pretty good for me. The home run price is absurd. It's plus 285, man, for the freaking home run for Murakami right now. And he's been really, really good in his last couple of weeks of action here. He's got at least 1 extra base hit in 7 of his last 9 starts in these games here. Which he has started the last 9 games. But yeah, in this one against the Cubs, he's going to be going up against Gausman, and I still think that's okay, man. Gausman's been pretty good limiting too much power overall, but he's still, at least in terms of the ball going out of the park, but I think his X stuff is a bit worse here. He's actually in the bottom, what do we got here, about 15th percentile among qualified starters in terms of the slugging that he's giving up and the ISO. And I think this look here for Murakami with the way he's hitting and doing really, really well against righties, definitely better against them this year than lefties. A 170 WRC plus, 603, basically 600 plus slugging rate as well when he's going up against the righties. Lefties has been notably worse here, man, all the way down at 109 on the weighted runs created plus, 416 on the slugging as well versus southpaws there. So I think when you look at the way the Cubs probably also going to have a couple arms coming, I don't think they're going to have much in terms of left-handed arms available in the bullpen. It doesn't look like in terms of some of the fatigue that they've sort of seen setting in the last few starts that they've had to really dip into the lefties in the bullpen. Gausman been good overall coming in here now as a Cub. I think it's interesting that he's actually been pretty bad at Wrigley in the past and has definitely been able to been taken advantage of when there's that wind going out to left the way that it seems like it's going to be in this one, which is not going to fare well for guys that are able to hit on either side of the plate, to be honest, but especially these righties up for the Sox.
Yeah, I don't mind this. He's actually Murakami's absolutely going to strike out at some point in this game, but he also holds a 15% walk rate. He has a 408 WOBA against right-handed pitching. Like, I feel very comfortable that he's going to be, whether he's on base because he got walked or whether he's batting someone in or whether he gets a hit. I think this plus 100 line tells you, not tells you a lot, but is a bit short of what it should be. I think it should probably be like minus 110, minus 115, just because of where he's I got him projected for the 2-hole. I think he's going to have plenty of opportunity. He's not going to be pinch hit, all of those things. So yeah. Plus 100 just feels significantly short in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to be telling that one. I like that a lot. Where I want to go next is take me out to Milwaukee. I battled how I wanted to attack this game. There's a couple different ways I think you could do it. And it really depends on what you think of Kyle Harrison and what you think of Bryce Miller. I think you could lay the run line with Milwaukee for plus 130, whatever the odds are on that. I haven't looked this morning. I think you could lay juice with Milwaukee team total over 3.5. I think it's like a minus 150 or something. Just put the 1.5 units on it. I think that works too. I'm going to go for probably the rogue choice here. I'm going to go with the over 7.5 minus 114. This is primarily a handicap, just believing that 7.5 is too low for the actual version of Bryce Miller that we're getting right now. Early in the season, Miller was just incredible. Like the data and earlier season, Miller's data and Seattle's recent offensive struggles appears to be a lot of the heavy work here, keeping this below 8.5, which is where I think it should be. I think this should be 8.5 for me to feel uncomfortable for taking the under and uncomfortable for taking the over. But Miller has fallen off dramatically over the last month. And Milwaukee, I don't love their offense right now, but we know what they can do. And obviously you can make the argument that we know what Bryce Miller could do. I still think Milwaukee's legitimately live here to contribute, upwards of 4, 5, 6 runs by themselves off of the current Bryce Miller that we're getting. On the other side, Kyle Harrison, I think this is a tale of two stories. Like both of these pitchers have incredible data. Like earlier in the season, Kyle Harrison, one of the highest strike rates in the league. However, I think you have to and I've learned this over betting over a couple of years and betting into the high points of players. You have to bake in regression. And Kyle Harrison, though he had that game coming off the IL versus the Pirates and had a 10K game in 5 innings under 70 pitches. The Pirates have been awful, and they have a high strikeout rate. It was like the pitcher perfect opportunity for him to come in here and get reestablished. And then Kyle Harrison, I believe, faced the Dodgers, which got shelled. It's the Dodgers, granted. And then the other opposing argument is that, Matt, you've been selling me that the Seattle Mariners are awful on offense, and I have, and I think they are. I'm not denying that. Regression to the mean still exists. I still think Kyle Harrison is live to give you 2 or 3 runs. That's not including anything these bullpens do. The Mariners bullpen has been awful. Milwaukee's bullpen has been okay. 7.5 is still feels short for me if I think Bryce Miller gives you 3 to 4, and if I think Kyle Harrison gives you 2 to 3. All the bullpen has to do is give you 1 to 2, and I think we're at the 7.5 pretty comfortably. And I'm probably going to knock on wood. I'm probably going to come on this podcast tomorrow and talk about how we were 3 runs short of something happening and having 17 base runners, but it's the risk I'm willing to take. I think over 7.5 is a really good number. especially at minus 114. I think this should be 8.5 minus 110. Maybe plus 100, 8.5, but I really think it should be 8.5. Milwaukee doesn't need to massively outperform their expectation here. In fact, I think them getting a 3.5 number at minus 150 and a 4.5 number at plus like 110, 115 shows you what the upside of this Milwaukee offense could be versus Bryce Miller. I respect Harrison a lot, and I don't need Seattle to beat him up, but I do think he's going to give us a couple of runs. He's had a 7.83 ERA over his last 2 starts. So, and I don't want to, build a habit of only looking at last 2 starts, but it will tell you a lot. And what recent stuff really matters in baseball. In my opinion, I've said this before, but it's a what have you done for me lately league. And Seattle's offense has been up and down. Kyle Harrison has been up, but he's also been down. Bryce Miller's been really down. Just give me the over 7.5. Make it sweat free. I really think it's the right side of this number.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really quite understand as much of what you were going to come with beforehand, because I don't like much for offense at first glance. So that's why it's kind of like you're swimming in a stream that you're going, well, a lot of this needs to come back to the mean. And if you're not following, if you don't believe that the sort of factors that have led to the recent struggles for both these offenses in these situations, if you don't think those are impacting here, they're being over accounted for example, 7.5, obviously going to be on the low end of any of the totals that we can get, then that means the pendulum has swung for you in the spot, right? That's kind of
let me be clear before you go to your next pick. Don't this is the pick that I believe in today. Don't misconstrue what I'm about to say. Sure. I bet this myself. You're absolutely attempted to catch a falling knife here, 100%. But I do think this number should be 8.5 for it to be uncomfortable on the under. The over. I'm sorry.
Totally get that. And I really honed in on that as the main point to the bet, because we're always just looking for the info that we think is either baked into the market too much, not baked in enough, or at all. That's essentially what we're doing here. I'm actually going with not against the grain with that thought process, but I'm following the trend for Zebby here. And it's a lot more than just that he was pitching well and then he has not been lately. And so I'm going to continue riding the train of what's been happening lately. It's not just that, although with the MLB, with Major League Baseball being a season that takes forever to go through, obviously, you do want to take some recency numbers and work with them. The key here is who he was playing. There's factors that are clear here, and this is where the market gets tripped up and why you can find some value on stuff like 15.5 outs for Zebby, is because if you look at who the opponent isn't taken into consideration enough when you have a streak of 3 to 4 games where he struggled the way that he has. Now we're in the 4 of his last 5, rather. He's given up at least 3 runs. The only time he did not give up 3 runs was when he gave up 2 to the Athletics, who have been a bottom 5 team versus righties in the last basically month of the season, and definitely in the last 2 weeks, even worse. So there's reasons for that. The opponents that you're looking at, who was available, etc. The pitch count has remained pretty consistent. If he is able to give up under, say, 4 runs in the first 5 innings, then he's probably looking at about 90, 95 pitches, with a band all the way down to about 80, though, if he doesn't have it that day. I think that's the case here again today, and that's the commonality between Zebby's struggles recently, is when he had his stretch of roughly a month, even from basically June into July, where he was absolutely dominating, going 7 innings numerous times. A lot of bad right-handed, a lot of bad teams against right-handed bats that he was going up against. Looking at the Rangers, just looking at the bottom tier of the in terms of batting against righties. So I think this is a spot where he's going up against too hot of a team to be able to maintain that, and he'll be at about 90 pitches right around the 5 innings.
Yeah, I mean, I took yesterday. We obviously didn't have a show, but I took the over 9 in this game yesterday. The Braves at Twins, and
excuse me.
I think there was something like 20 something base runners in that game. It ended up being 6 runs. So I ended up losing the bet. But my point here is the Atlanta side of that was, I think they had 10 base runners and only come up with two runs. So I kind of expect the bounce back here. I think they need this game. In addition to that, I do agree with you. Zebby is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on with how well he's been as of late, and I completely agree with that. And then on top of that, though we haven't seen it completely manifest yet, we have gotten the Atlanta lineup back. Acuna's back in the lineup, Drake Baldwin's back in the lineup, Matt Olson has been in the lineup, Michael Harris is in the lineup. That's a murderer's row. And, you know, though they didn't go over yesterday, I do like them in spot. I haven't looked at what the money line is right now, but I imagine that versus what it was at opened, it has steamed toward Atlanta, would be my guess. I do agree with you. I think Zebby gets shelled here. I think this is a very, 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 very bad spot for him.
Indeed. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Appreciate you tuning back in here after a short little break, coming back to you now, moving forward the rest of this week. So best of luck to everybody here on Tuesday. Till we do see you next. Happy betting.